Okay. Well, you guys, I am so excited for tonight, and congrats to Trisha on 100-pound club. That's so exciting. So yes, that is something to be celebrated, you guys, these products. And in case anyone didn't catch the Isagenix Live from the company, be sure to go back and check it out. It's so exciting. So much good stuff coming this summer. And they alluded to that these things are going to stay forever. So you have to just go listen to them. It's so exciting. But tonight, before I get too much into that, I'm so excited to have our dear friend and one of our absolute company-wide fearless leaders, Lindsay Hoffbuhr, train us tonight. Lindsay and I have had a lot of fun putting this together. And, she is just impeccable when it comes to leadership, when it comes to building her business. I mean, she definitely has done a lot. She's maxed out her first business center, which, many of you know that means 250 cycles in a week. That's a very large, multiple six-figure income. I know Corey, her husband's business center, has also hit six figures, right? 3-star?
Yeah.
So, that's the beauty of building your spouse's center after your own, if you do have a spouse, right? 10 personally enrolled Crystal executives. She was an optometrist before doing Isagenix full-time and surpassed her income in that. So, I mean, it's just so fun to see medically trained people come and love our profession and love our company specifically. She also has made more than $1 million with Isagenix as an Isagenix Legacy Club member. Of course, more than any of those things, we care about her heart and we care about her friendship and we care about the wisdom she's going to share with us tonight, and the fact that she is an awesome spirited girl mom just alongside me. We absolutely love, and it's fun to see people live out their passions and their whys with family. So Lindsay, go ahead and take it away. I'm excited. We're going to learn from her a couple of very, very, very key things: being a professional and time management, which I know she's amazing at.
Thank you so much. Way too kind of an introduction. It's hard to hear those things because we all know that success in Isagenix comes from a whole lot of success in your team. And without teammates, none of us could be in any of these places. And so to my team that's on and listening, you are everything to Corey and I. It's been a fun journey. We'll be sitting at 5 years in September. So that anniversary milestone is coming up really fast. As Allison mentioned, I was in a completely different professional sector before Isagenix. And hold on, I'm going to make sure I can mute everybody here. If you want to speak, just make sure and unmute yourself, okay? A lot of background noise. I entered into the world of eye care and graduated from school when I was 24. And so I didn't look a day over 12. And I realized very quickly I had to have a much higher level of professionalism for patients to trust me and to believe in my care. And that came from everything from an appearance standpoint to how I handled myself and conducted myself. And I understand a lot of people in a lot of professions aren't taught how to be a professional, or maybe it's not been part of your upbringing, or the X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter what you do, we can exude an added level of professionalism. So things from, I would never wear my hair in a ponytail at work when I was seeing patients because it made me look younger. Even if I didn't know what was wrong and I didn't know what the problem was, I would excuse myself from the room for some other reason, and I would go look it up in a textbook. I never said I didn't know. And I think that is one of the most valuable tips I can give any of you when it comes to questions you receive from Isagenix. Do not ever say, I don't know. You simply say, there's a resource for that. And when you can, as soon as you can, you look up that answer and you provide them with the resource. So there's just certain tips, and I've got 14. Some are from books and things I've studied in the past, and some I've added on tips on how to be the most professional you, not only in Isagenix, but in many of your day jobs that I want to run through real quick, and then we're going to talk about time management. We have two kind of really fun topics that just go hand in hand. So if I am talented enough, I will screen share my screen, because I made just a really simple PowerPoint here. Nothing crazy, but it'll allow you guys to take a screenshot or whatever if you want. If you don't want to furiously write down what we've got going on here. Okay, can everyone see that okay? Perfect, thumbs up. Okay, so number one, be of good character. This is pretty simple. I think being being a good human and being positive, and there's so many things you can do that lend itself to good character. But what I want to say the most is that, and this goes hand in hand with quite a few that I'm going to talk about, negativity isn't attractive. Negativity isn't inspiring. And to me, being negative is not being of good character. And so when it comes to your business, whether you're having a good day or bad day, you want to always work your hardest to be positive. And that's an added level of professionalism that truly, I feel, only skilled people at their craft can do effortlessly, whether they feel like being positive or they've had a really, really hard day. Carry yourself with decency, and integrity, of course, means complete honesty. So if you're given a question by a customer in Isagenix, does your mom or dad use the products, and they in fact don't use the products, that it's within your integrity to say, no, they don't, but someday I sure hope that they do. We can field a lot of questions to spin to be positive and full of integrity without having to lie or be negative or even beat around the bush. So being of good character is a good trait, even as a parent, as a daughter or a son, and certainly as a leader or a team member. Number 2, don't be afraid to learn new skills. When you think of all the jobs you've had in the story of your life, we've had to learn a lot of new things. Many of us have been servers, or we worked in coffee shops, or we worked in retail, and we had to be willing to learn how to specifically fold clothes the right way. In Isagenix, there's a lot of new skills to be learned, and the willingness to do so is going to step you up on the professional ladder, and therefore the income ladder, much more so than those that are too afraid or unwilling to learn new skills. So we think of things like social media, being willing to invite social media into your life and to adapt what you know and what you're capable of to fill social media with abundance in your business and abundance in your growth. We think of those that are really afraid to speak in front of others or to speak in front of a room, stage fright, so to speak, whether it's an in-home tasting party or on a stage at a Super Saturday, being willing to learn the skills and develop the confidence to do that. And so I have an action item at the end of this call here. And one of the things is to identify the 14 things that you're very good at and things that you're not quite yet ready for, and identify which ones you're going to work on. And for many of you on this call, it might just be the willingness to be open to learning something new. Being reliable and dependable. We all have people in our life that are the people that always cancel. If they're going to RSVP to something, they will surely cancel before the event, whether it's fun, it's ladies' night, or it's babysitter, you're depending on to watch your kids, whatever it may be. There just sometimes are those people who you kind of just take with a grain of salt and think, they probably or may not be here. I know I'm going to get a call from them the morning of. Please don't be one of those people when it comes to your Isagenix business. You can do whatever you want in your personal life. When it comes to your Isagenix business, always be reliable and dependable. Always show up for that tasting party. Always show up for that coffee date that you scheduled with your hot prospect. Even if, it's a tasting party and you're sure no one's going to be there, you conduct it anyway. We had a giant snowfall this winter, and I had this protein bowl party locked and loaded. I had bought all the things, had all the bowls set up, everything you can possibly manage. And as the snow was falling and falling, I thought, no one's going to come. Everyone's going to cancel. I set the entire party up anyway. And at the very minute the party was supposed to start, a couple of my co-hosts who live on the other side of town just said, listen, we just can't. And I don't think any of our guests are going to come either. And at that point we had to call it, but I still set up that entire party as if 20 people were going to be filling my home that morning, even though I had pretty good intuition it wasn't going to happen. So just always be the person that your teammates, your customers, and your prospects can count on by being dependable. Number 4, maintain a positive attitude and inspire those around you. I already mentioned that with number 1, but negative people are not influencers, and negative people don't inspire others. So really watch the words and the tone that come out of your mouth when it comes to your Isagenix business, your customers, and your associates. Number 5, take ownership of your financial growth and success. Nothing is more like nails on a chalkboard than hearing some of my associates or teammates or any in Isagenix complaining of their income when they're not the ones taking ownership of that income. We know that we're our own bosses, that how we manage our time and how many hours we devote to Isagenix is going to completely dictate what type of growth and success that we have. It's in our very own hands. And taking ownership of that is a huge level of professionalism. You guys, I can quote the very specific times that my work ethic wasn't as high. I had other distractions, big distractions in certain seasons of life. And I take complete ownership for lack of growth or even a drop in growth during those seasons, and my own enrollments and my own rank advancements, you name it. And I think when we can own those seasons and dive back in and work hard during fruitful seasons, then it's this beautiful balance of what network marketing can really give us. But it's in the seasons when we're not working or we're not working hard at all and still sad or complaining about our income or our lack of growth, that's when that unprofessionalism really steps in. Number 6, being proactive. If you see a need, fill it. If you see a challenge or opportunity coming down the pike, address it. A couple ideas of this. If we're all on product pages, and if you feel there haven't been enough posts of inspiration or posts about the products on our team product pages, that you can be the very one to make those posts. If you're sitting here feeling as though, and my team better not, because we've had so many challenges lately, but if you feel like there hasn't been a team challenge lately, well then gosh darn it, why the heck aren't you the one arranging it and aligning it? Right? So being proactive and being willing, no matter your rank of leadership in the company, no matter how long or short you've been in isogenics for, you can be the one to take those steps and to organize and to arrange. It doesn't always have to be your leaders. My leader and I and some of this big group of the originals on our team all started at the same time. We weren't doing anything for each other. We were just trying to grow and figure it out as we go. And so I look down sometimes at all that is offered to so many on both Allison and I's teams, that sometimes it would be very nice to have some proactiveness or more proactiveness. I know many of you do amongst our communities. So if you see a need, you can absolutely be the one to fill it. Number 7, be diligent. The quality of your work speaks volumes of you. How haphazardly you send a response or a follow-up, or how diligent and full and sound and robust of a response that you send, it is all about you and your level of professionalism. Do you put a period at the end of the sentence? Do you capitalize your I's? Do you answer every specific question that prospect asked, in a very easy to read format? The quality of your work, just like in school, it is the same in isogenics. It's going to dictate how far you can really take this opportunity. Number 8, exercise self-discipline. So I put some stars by this because this is the one that I think truly is the most important, but I also see happen the least. And self-discipline, there's all different types of self-discipline. And yes, it's something you can absolutely improve upon. There's so many books and everything for it. But self-discipline can be from, your commitment to eating healthy, your commitment to getting to the gym, your commitment to your work hours, your commitment to your spouse, right? There's lots of facets of self-discipline. But when it comes to isogenics and where I see the lack is a discipline to simply sit down and work. When you're your own boss, no one's giving you deadlines, no one's hovering over your back, no one's checking in on you. You're working from home in home offices or on a card table in your master bedroom like I did for my first year and a half. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline to be able to do that every single day when no one's checking in on you, to do it on the days that you're not earning a PIB, to do it on the weeks where you're not cycling yet. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline, even if it's 1 to 2 hours a day, to sit down and close off the rest of the world. It can be very hard. And I see so many associates enter into this opportunity and the only missing link, their network is extraordinary. Even their aura, their looks, you name it, everything is so extraordinary, but they're just not disciplined enough to even own a computer or sit down in front of a computer or use their phones and put their kids in childcare for a hot second and just work. So exercising self-discipline makes you the utmost professional. You guys think of people going to law school or med school or optometry school like myself. Nobody makes it out alive after 4 to 8 years without a high level of self-discipline. So if you want to be a professional, like so many people are, and earn money along the way, it's practicing that every single day. Number 9, exude dedication. So be dedicated to your customers, be dedicated to your prospects, be dedicated to do things in the smartest way possible. We have so many resources that allow us to be dedicated to the highest quality. We have our ISA sales tools, our ISA movies, isogenicsbusiness.com. We have these free resources that allow us to accomplish number 9 effortlessly. Be dedicated to the company and what you're sharing about Isogenics and the representation that you are of Isogenics. And most importantly, be dedicated to your future, knowing that it's going to take days to weeks to months to years to get where you want to go on this road. If you stay dedicated the entire time, you're going to get to somewhere extraordinary. Think of marriages. My husband and I just celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary. If it weren't for years of dedication, if we were jumping all over, dating other people, looking in other directions, and we didn't exude self-dedication, we never would be where we are today with the life and the family we have today. And I want your business to be just like that. I want to know where your business is going to be in 12 years, and without any other distractions, if you stay dedicated to Isogenics, what that is going to look like for you. Number 10, put the mission first always. How many of you see egos get way too in the way when it comes to Isogenics? Small things like, oh, you have to start with the pack, or I'm just not going to get you started in Isogenics, up to big things. People that probably start their team pages, their own team pages way too early because they want to be a leader and their ego's telling them to, when it doesn't serve anybody in their downline. Or an ego that, you know, you have to have a specific dollar amount of dress and clothes on it at celebration and New Year's kickoff to look your best because your ego's telling you you need to have a $200 dress on, when I rock my Target gear all the time at celebration and New Year's kickoff because I don't let my ego get in the way. So really keeping that in check and working towards what is best for everybody, not just you, to me, is what keeps our ego in check. What is best for our company? What is best for my leader? What is best for my associates and my team and my downline? And that will always be putting the greater good and the mission, so to speak, first. Number 11, understand the most important data that defines your success in your role. What defines success in Isogenics or our financial success and growth? It's prospecting, enrolling, and rank advancing people. So if you clearly understand those three things, then you're on the road to being a professional and you understand exactly what you have to do to get there. If any one or all of those three things still are messy for you, or you're lost in them, or you don't understand how, it's okay. You're at the amateur level, but understanding that is going to get you to the professional level. In short, number 11 is understanding our compensation plan. It's watching that video again and again and again until you understand two sides of the tree. One's a team leg, one is my personal leg. I need members on both, X, Y, and Z. That is number 11. And it's okay if you're not there yet, but this is your gentle nudge to get there and to start working on what defines success in Isogenics. Number 12, pitch in, especially when the task far supersedes what it can do for you, that it can truly help your team or it can help others around you. We're so blessed in Isogenics that teamwork is what defines our success. Everybody wins. You win, your sponsor wins, you name it. When more people are brought to the team and our retention raises and the health journeys and success of everybody on our team is on an upward, just straight up. So I'm going to give you an example. And Nicole, I don't know if you're on the call because I can't look, but if you're not, I know you'll listen to this later, but I make Instagram stories a lot, storylines. So I use Canva. It's a wonderful app, and I'll make storylines about our wellness challenges, about specific products, about, things in Isogenics in our business that in sequence, whether it's 5 images or 12 images, you name it, can be strung together in Instagram and Facebook stories to captivate your audience. They work beautifully, but we all know that imagery takes time. Even with Canva, things are fast, but it still takes time. And anytime I make a storyline, I provide it to my whole team on our business page. Like, here, if you guys want to use this, you can. I'm happy to do it, and I love getting to do it. But a couple months ago, Nicole beat me to the punch. I can't even remember what it was. It must have been a wellness challenge. Maybe it was our bedtime belly buster challenge. And she made the story images and shared them with me. And it's gotta darn near make me cry because no one's ever done that for me. Think of the things you do as a leader that you pitch in and you constantly do. And then sometimes you look around and you realize there isn't a whole lot of people pitching in elsewhere. And that's never the place you want to be on a team. So I encourage all of you to always be the leader that pitches in. Make those images for your entire team, upline, downline. set up that challenge or post on the product page, post on the business page. Pitching in and being a team player makes you so valuable in our communities. And I just think that a lot of people don't think to do it. But if you want to be a professional, that's one very easy, simple, and fruitful way. And we all can agree in the law of abundance. There is more than enough people in this world to benefit from your hard work. No one's going to be stolen from me in Isogenics because I share my stories and images and hard work with my team, right? Your people are always going to come to you, but pitching in is so valuable, and a level of professionalism that you'll see in hospitals and in offices and in my eye care office. I mean, everyone pitched in to maximize that patient experience, to get them out the door with the products they need and the classes they need and the purchases they need. It's like you never even questioned it. But for some reason, network marketing, this sometimes can be a little bit different. So I encourage all of you to really think about that tonight. And Nicole, thank you for that. I will never forget that. Number 13, communicate clearly and concisely. Deliver the facts in as few words as possible. All of you who know me know that I like to talk a lot. I use a lot of words. And unfortunately, sometimes when we're amateurs in network marketing, we have to learn the hard way that we share too much or we say too much, and often less is more. To me, communicating clearly and concisely in Isogenics, especially with our prospects, is to use the tools that we have, to use ISO sales tools, to use ISO movies, to let professional modalities do the communicating for you and your words be as few as possible. We also know that in order to get your message across, you have to understand the need of who you're talking to, which again involves much more listening and much fewer words. Number 14, show up. I don't need to tell any of you on the call tonight to show up, but I have to tell you as a leader, it always hurts our heart when very few people take advantage of any type of trainings, whether it's a Super Saturday, it's a Zoom call, it's these call series. Those of you that maybe still haven't connected with your partner yet for this Summer Success Series that Allison and I so diligently paired you with, it's showing up is over half the battle for your business, for your team, for your future, for your mentors, you name it. And that goes for events like Celebration, that goes for local events like Super Saturdays, these Zooms that you can do from anywhere. I think I had 4 Zooms in my car today. It doesn't matter where you are. It's that you show up. And tasting parties. If you're hosting one, or a colleague of yours in your town is hosting one and you've said you're going to go, just show up. And that, to me, is the next level of professionalism. If you have a day job or you've had a day job, would you ever not show up to work when everyone was counting on you to be there? So that, again, level of professionalism in your Isogenics business is absolutely everything. So that is being a professional in a really long nutshell. I'll take questions in a bit, but let's hop right on to time management. So time management is one of those topics that a lot of people roll their eyes about, and we don't have to overanalyze it. We don't have to make it complicated, but it's simply understanding how to utilize and plan the hours in your day to effectively accomplish your goals. If your goals are to earn more money with Isogenics on a small scale or a really big scale, then we need to plan your day to effectively accomplish that. If you want to go on a fast track, like I did and wanted to in the beginning, I time managed a whole lot of hours. If you're okay going on a normal pace track or even a slower track, your time management won't need to be as extreme. But what I hope, if you haven't heard me speak to this yet, that we can rewrite a few things for you tonight to enable you to better manage your hours, but also not feel so frantic in the process. For those of you that have been in Isogenics for even 6 months or more, but especially 1 year or more, we can feel like we're always working. We're always connected to our mobile device. We're always fielding questions. There's no punch in and punch out on the time clock, which is hard. It's unsustainable, to be quite honest. Everyone can do it for a season, but if we can manage our time better and set specific hours of work better, then we can alleviate a lot of other moments in our life and start to really enjoy the moments that we don't want to miss, like being there for dinner with your family or taking your kids to school and not trying to message and field all the things at the same time. So I'm inviting you to think about and be open to what it will look like to rewrite your schedule and to let go of activities that no longer serve you or serve your business or your future or where you want to take your family, and to absolutely be open to multitasking. My joke always when I do this training on a much longer in-depth scale at events is I don't even just stand there to brush my teeth. I can't tell you the last time I actually stood at my sink and brushed my teeth. You know, you're putting your shoes on, your pants on, you're running around, getting the dishwasher unloaded. Like, you have to be really good at multitasking to have a side hustle that's going to be fruitful. So the first thing I'd like all of you to do, and you can do this because it doesn't take time, these things you already know, but write down your non-negotiables. What are things in your life that you will not give up? If I were to tell you could make $1 million in 3 years in Isogenics, but you have to do X, Y, and Z, what is something that you would not give up? Good examples, and for myself, it's exercise, church activities or obligations, and my children's ballet recital, their sporting events. You know, I will absolutely miss those for events. I absolutely will. But on a regular routine work schedule basis, there's things you like to be there for, and there's things you like to be in your home for, or you like to do, and I want you to write them down. 3 to 5 non-negotiables. You know, you can also add time with your spouse to this. You can add, you know, school drop-off is super important to me. I love to be the one to take my kids to the bus in the morning. I love those moments. I pick them up after school. They don't catch the bus, so we have that special time on the way home. So that, you know, you could have a handful of non-negotiables, but things that are most important to your life. Now, the hard part is identifying your negotiables. I will tell you, my husband and I have not had cable in 8 years. 8 years, we don't need it. We don't need TV. We need college football, but that is it. So TV is something that a lot of adults spend a tremendous amount of time on, or Netflix. I kind of, when people say they, you know, watch a Netflix marathon over the weekend, I think, how did you even manage that? You know, if you have big goals and big dreams in your heart, these are things you're going to have to give up. Family vacations, we gave up for a chunk in time, right? We were working hard. My husband was in residency. It was something that had to go. I didn't want to disappear for a week when my business needed me. These are all things that you don't have to give up for forever too. I should definitely make that clear. If you want cable in your life after you become a millionaire in Isogenics, you grab cable and you bring it back in your life. And then 4 fun books. I haven't read a book for fun outside of personal development and growth and leadership books, which I think are fun, but a romance novel, you know, since long before I started Isogenics. So again, identify your negotiables, things you're actively spending time on a regular basis right now that are not serving your dreams, your future, and your family. And those are the things I'm going to really encourage you to hone in on and start adjusting and start working on. Maybe some you want to quit cold turkey. That's cool. Maybe some you just want to cut back to an every other day or once a week. We always do family movie night on Fridays. So it's not as if our TV is never on, but it's on such a small scale and we're intentional about it. So that's what I invite you to do. Now, I want to talk real quick on the 2 different types of adults and humans we have. Now, you're going to be one type. Maybe you're like Allison and I, and you've been both types, but you're also going to be working with teammates and associates that are opposite of what you are in this moment. So we have 2 categories: associates with another job. You know, for Allison, that was her corporate career with Target. For myself, it was my eye care career. Now we're both stay-at-home parents that are obviously invest a lot of time being an entrepreneur in network marketing. So whatever club you fall into in the moment, it's important to understand a few things. That regardless of whether you leave the house for work or your work is your children in your home, every single person can get up early and join the 5 a.m. club or 6 a.m. club or 4 a.m. club, whatever early means to you, and get a whole lot done. You guys, I come down here to this office with my coffee and in my pajamas or in my robe, and I like rock out 2 hours of solid work before my girls wake in the morning. And my kids are early risers. They get up at 6:30, 6:45. But that intentional time is all of the things. It's all the follow-ups, all the catch-ups, all the check-ins, you name it. It's everything that you can do in the stillness of the morning that is of such valuable time. For some of you, that might look like the 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. club. I won't discount that there are miraculous humans out there that don't like to get up early but have an extraordinary ability to stay up late. Whatever it is, it's the quality hours where you can be focused and there are not tiny humans around bothering you. Now, those that have another job, much like my life was in Isogenics the first year I was building, I saw patients nearly full time. It was 4 days a week, 9, 10 hours a day. I developed what I call the 30-30 plan. 30 stands for minutes. So I got up 30 minutes earlier in the morning and I only did Isagenix work, no other distractions. I took my lunch break and it became diligent work time. I'd schedule a 3-way call. I would do all of my follow-ups. Whatever it was, I closed my office exam room door. I did no patient charting. I shook up my shakes. I wasn't going out to lunch anymore. I stopped fraternizing with my staff and I got diligent work done. And then the final 30 minutes was after my children went to bed. Before Corey and I had our, catch up for the day, important marriage time, I would get more work done. Now, a lot of times these 30 minutes are going to morph into 45 or even an hour, which is awesome. And that's what I encourage. But at a minimum, we can all agree, every single one of us can do this. And if you add that up, you have an hour and a half of solid work time a day. And when it's intentional without distractions, you can get so much done. Now, for those associates and teammates that are stay-at-home parents, especially young kids that are not yet school age, that was my life for several years in Isagenix before they were both school age this past year, is identifying and recognizing that you now have a job. If you want this to pay like a job, you now have a job. So you have to filter and toggle your days and your weeks to resemble that. So that might mean some additional childcare. That might mean that you do drop them off at the bus rather than take them to school in the morning because you get an extra 35 minutes of work time. That's my reasoning. That might mean that you have to have a very real conversation with your spouse and those in your inner circle that you're not, always available, free childcare, you name it anymore, that you actually have to say no to some things. I say no to a lot of fun things that occur during the day with a lot of my local friends because building my business is my job and it's very important to me. But I also never tried to jump into this whole, I can do anything and everything with my kids. And there are many rad people like that out there, but they aren't making money or an income with Isagenix, right? Or any entrepreneurial type thing. It takes actual work hours. So sometimes just recognizing that and making sure all of those around you know that is just the missing link to your success in Isagenix. And same thing, you can have your 30-30-30 plan also. It might be nap time. That might be, my girls, when they were little, went to bed at 6 p.m. And so I always laugh when people tell me they can't stay up late and work because their kids stay up till 10 p.m. Well, no child should be up till 10 p.m. That's not even school age yet. So we're all in control of how we handle our hours and how we facilitate our ability to have work hours. So I encourage each of you who are looking for some time management tips to hone in on what that 30-30-30 could look like for you. And then lastly, I have some action items. I think it's important with these calls, with it being summer, distractions being at an ultimate high, and customers being washy on the products, retention's always up and down this time of year because of vacations and everything that people have going on, that we can still be very productive and fruitful in our Isagenix business. And you guys being on this call really proves that. But the first is I want you to really go through, if you want this emailed to you, I can email that or message the professional tips to you. I typed it up in a Word document and really start the items that you need improvement on. First of all, I'll step back. If I offended anybody on this call, that was not my intention. I don't know many of your personal lives and how you conduct your level of professionalism, but I want to say that when I'm spoken to on things that I know I need to get better at, or I know that I'm doing that isn't right, I always get defensive and offended. And then after I can think on it for an hour or two, I realize I was only defensive and offended because the person was totally right. So if I took you aback on any of the 14 professional tips, give it a little bit more time and thought. A, no, it wasn't intentional, but B, know that that's just an area that you can improve on. Circle items that you already do currently that you feel you're very good at, because those are items you get to teach and can teach your teammates and your associates. And then I encourage you to pick 4 of those 14 items to highlight and implement right away. Like ASAP. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to make a post on the business page or a post on the product page because I see a need and I'm going to pitch in, or whatever it might be. Next, I want you to assess your schedule. It's summertime. Many of our schedules look completely different. Kids aren't in school. Some of you don't have jobs in the summer if you're in the education sector. So assess your schedule as it is right now and be willing to rewrite it if you want to see growth in your income and growth in your team this summer. Get rid of those negotiables. commit and learn to work around your non-negotiables and make sure that your family is all part of this grand plan for you. And then lastly, commit to living each day with intention. I gave a few items off the top of my head that I'm doing every single day that I realize is innate and natural to me now, but that had to be with big intention in the beginning. So examples like Facebook friend requests, each person you meet every single day so that you can carry that connection on to consistency and them seeing more, having that window into your life and more it is that you do. I listen to podcasts when I get ready in the morning. I take my phone in the shower and set it on the shelf. When I'm putting makeup on, you name it. Especially when I was working, I had about a 30-minute commute each day. I would always schedule my three-way calls for that time. My car had a Bluetooth, but we all know you can buy those little external Bluetooths as a business write-off if you need. And if you are really just thinking, wow, my network is crummy or I've tapped out my network, it's just time to find a new networking group and get going to it. So being very intentional, not sitting there waiting for people to come to you or hoping that people will come to you, but be very action-driven about your business and be very intentional about how you're spending your time and your moments in order to maximize it all. So with that being said, I'm going to take a look at the chat box. I know it's flashing at me, you guys, and I'm so bad at reading it. Thank you, Becky. I'm in the 10-11. See, Allison's a prime example. You're the evening club. So if you need evening inspo, go see Allison. I'm in bed by then, girlfriend. My bedtime's 9:30, 10. And then Barbie pitched in on that. Nap time hustle.
My team knows they can contact me until like midnight. So,
and I know that about Laura. I was texting Laura last night and she's 2 hours ahead and I actually went to bed during her text combo and she was still up.
Yeah, but they know, yeah, if they need like a 7 a.m. three-way call, they know it better be a real important one.
It's got to be a really important one. See, and I think it's important to know this about your leaders and your mentors and who you're working alongside too. And again, everybody knows me. They know that they can write me at 5 a.m. and they would never wake me up. So that's fun to know. So know that about your people as well. What questions, if any of you want to unmute yourself, what questions do you have? Or add-ons or tips or other areas that you think are, or that you see and know are professional, or even with time management? Does anyone want to share a negotiable that you've given up since starting Isogenics? Or do we have a lot of work to do tonight? TV, Holly, great. Same. And I think it's special to maybe have one, series you like to just relax with, or something with your spouse. Like, we love This Is Us. It's not on right now, but we will stream that once a week. It's okay to have some. It just doesn't need to be in excess. More TV. No BV in TV. I love that, Heidi. That's fantastic. You guys, our time is better served being on Instagram and social media than it is TV. I mean, we can all agree, right? So if you're going to have a distraction, at least make it a intentional distraction. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else to add, I want to sincerely thank you all for your time. But date night is sacred at a night off from prospecting and phone. Yes, absolutely. You guys, I have a friend who went on her first date night with her husband in 9 months yesterday, or on Saturday, and it broke my heart. We can all be better about it than that, right? Alrighty, and listening to podcasts while driving to clients' houses. That's wonderful, Linda. Thank you. Thank you for adding and chiming in, everybody. Allison, do you have anything to add before you stop the recording and we wrap?
No, I mean, what I love that you said, it doesn't have to be forever, right? So being professional, yes, is a forever thing, I think. And you find your own groove, you find your way, all of that. We have our people that we really let our hair down with and don't, and you have those close relationships in team and people, whatever. But time management to really be, Lindsay had to be so diligent working all day in the eye exam room with her time management so she could get home, so she could have a little bit more leeway. So whatever you're saying, if you're saying, oh, they tell me I'm never going to have this again, or I have to give these things up, like, look at eye on the prize, what your long-term goal is, right? And like what your heart is yearning for. I just think that's really key. So
your heart is yearning for, absolutely. If it's that like credit card debt,
what you want now versus what you want most. Yeah. Like, what do you want? Do you want to watch TV more, or do you want that 6-figure residual income more? So that sort of a thing. And no shame. Just know where you're at and recognize it and all of that. So
exactly.
Yeah. And Lindsay, do you want to share about next week at all?
And what?
About next week and who's coming on next week?
We have a very, very, very special guest next week, Miss Laura Stevens. Everybody knows her. She needs no introduction, is going to be our guest, and she's going to speak on a couple of very important topics. So we're very excited. I would like to have a lot of people on the call live for Miss Laura. So please tell your teams. Please tell your friends. Please tell
your accountability partner. Make sure you talk to
your accountability partner. Exactly. That's happening. Same time, same place. Of course, we have 2 more calls left, and we're really excited to have Laura on. She's a busy woman. So to give us 30 to 45 minutes of her time is pretty epic. And it's a topic she happens to be extraordinary at. So stay tuned for that. Allison, thank you for being on with us. I appreciate you always. And you guys have a really fabulous and fruitful week. Enjoy your peach mango. Enjoy sharing all of the new promotions with your teammates. That's what I'm going to do right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lindsay. That was awesome. Everyone loved it.
Bet.
Bye.
Bye.